So we haven't really talked about like in the ring and kind of the mental, again, fitness that's needed in the ring. And you just mentioned pressure there. There's probably no better place to start talking about in the ring than your last fight, Jordan. And I wonder if you can talk us through maybe some of the pressure that you were under in that fight.
Yeah. Don't know what all the fuss was about. I was fine. Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, obviously. All week the fight was built and the promoter was saying, oh, this is if Jordan Gill gets beat, that's it. Or like, this is a must-win fight. That was the words. This is a must-win fight. And obviously every fight's a must-win fight because I know what it's like to lose. I know how long it takes to rebuild and get a sniff of the opportunity again. So every fight's a must-win fight, but that's a pressure. The pressure as well of everyone's there to watch you. You've sold loads of tickets for the O2. And then as well, you're carrying injuries going into the fight. Your hand's not 100%. You're going to have to let it go, even though it's going to hurt. You know that the guy in front of you is a proven veteran. He's a 4-time European champion. I don't know another guy that's won 4 European titles. Lerone might, but I don't know one. And yeah, it's the case where it's do or die. And so in the ring, I got off to a bad start. It's added pressure. First round, I think I lost. Second round, got into a flow. So that's when I switched on. Second, third round, fourth round, fifth round, all good. And then it's the case where did perforated me eardrum. Balance, guys. Been knocked down because of the balance. My knee's playing up from the knee injury in camp. And it's the case where my knee's gone, my balance is gone. I feel like I'm on a surfboard. I'm standing up on a canoe. Everything's like that. So I've been DDT'd. So the whole weight of my body's landed on my head, and somehow I've blacked out for a second, which I didn't realise at the time. I've woken up. I'm on my feet. The refs counted. Blah blah. Made it through the round. Got back to the corner. Said to Dave, "Ear's gone, knee's gone." He said, stand in the corner, this corner, so you can listen to my instructions. Do what we practice in the gym. Do what we drill in the gym. Defend off the ropes, pick your shots, work the body, go up to the head. And it was a case of drilling it. Didn't work in the 7th round. Didn't work in the 8th round. I caught him with a big right hand in the 8th round. Rocked him right back on his heels. I thought, that's the shot. If I'm going to get him, that's the shot. And it's the case where I am getting caught. My eye is starting to swell. I can see the ref looking in, thinking any time now he might jump in. So it's just a case of just sticking with it, believing in that, in your ability to find that shot, even though my knockout ratio is probably one of the lowest in the featherweight division. So, if you believe it, Tony Bellew said to me once, he who says he can and he who says he can't is usually right. And what that means is, if you say you can do something, then you can. But if you know you can do something, but you say, oh no, I don't think I can do that, then there's a good chance that you can't do it. So I just think, if you believe you can do it, the only thing stopping you from doing it is doing it. And I always knew that I could hurt Girthy. I always knew I could knock him out. So, you deal with the pressures as it comes.
It's fair to say there's 1 or 2 things didn't go exactly how you planned.
Yeah, there was a few rocky moments about, literally rocky moments. But I just think, like, looking back, what I said before about when you're going through hard times, everyone's looking, thinking, bloody hell, how is he getting through that? Or what's it like? That must be really hard. And when you're in there, you don't think anything of it because you're doing it. You're so present and you're so focused on doing what you can to get through their moments, or doing what you can to apply yourself and to have an effect on the fight, then you don't feel the pain. You don't feel, obviously, like, my knee was unstable, but it wasn't like killing me the way that it has been in camp because of the adrenaline, because of the focus.
I love that. I love the fact that you just said about staying present, because that's a skill. Like, that's a real skill to have, to stay present, because this is in all sports, and I'm sure you can relate to this. Athletes will spend a lot of, we do this as well, spend a lot of time thinking about what's just happened, and we spend a lot of time thinking about what's about to happen, and we don't spend a lot of time thinking about what's happening, like, right now in this second, because it's really difficult to do. Our minds naturally wander, right? What might happen for tea tonight? Oh, that meal that I had before that jerk chicken was really nice. Like, well, what's the next question I'm going to ask? And we're not really present in the moment.
I've been really guilty of it before, where I've been in a fight where it's a tick over fight. I've just come off a fight with Jason Cunningham, who's now British Commonwealth and European champion, and I beat him over 10 rounds, and I was waiting for a Commonwealth title shot. So in the interim, I had like a 6-rounder on, I think it was on Tony Bellew's undercard when he boxed David Haye the second time. And I boxed a guy that, I was always expected to beat, and it was just 6 rounds. And like, obviously I trained hard, but mentally I wasn't, like, I didn't have that edge. Like, I didn't know I was up against it. So it was like, I wasn't really performing. I was in the ring, and I remember thinking after a couple of rounds, whereas in the Gurphy fight, I was so present, I was so focused on applying myself. In that fight, I guarantee you, I promise you, I was thinking, this is shit. I was thinking, like, yeah, I know, it was poor. Like, the performance was poor, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm trash, man. This is terrible. And what's everyone ringside thinking? I remember thinking at the time, I'm glad this arena's not full. I was like first on 4:30 in the afternoon. I remember thinking, I'm glad there's not many people here. Now, Eddie was ringside, and I just thought, he's not having a good time. He hates me. Like, 'cause he's paid me to fight, and I'm stinking the place out. And I just thought, but all them things you worry about, if you actually kept present at the time, if you kept focused on the job at hand, there's a good chance I would have probably landed more shots and got him out of there, or looked a little bit more dazzling. So, you trip yourself up so I've learned from them times where I'm not fully focused and put it into the fights that matter.
Laurent, what about you? Have you ever had anything quite as drastic in terms of the number of things going wrong all at the same time?
No. And I don't want it. Oh, no.
So what about pressure then? Have you ever felt pressure like that?
In terms of what, a fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is pressure. There is pressure, but I'm weird. Like, I don't know, like, I'm weird because I just don't care enough. I just want to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And that works for me. So when it comes to fights, I may get a little bit nervous, which is normal, but I just don't care. Yeah. I just want to box and win.
It's all about the process.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science for me. I look at things in black and white.
So I was going to say, because you gave the example before of someone saying, this is it. If you don't win this one, it's over. And, for both of you, there must be a lot of noise around the fight. People chirping in, people saying this and that, and that, from all sorts of different places.
Yeah, well, my last fight, people thought I was going to get knocked out. But I was saying to Danny, I was in the gym and I was saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, this, that, and everything I said I was going to do, apart from one last thing, the celebration, I done. Because I visualized it. I knew that, but not just like, I'd visualize fights, not just me having the success, but sometimes my opponent having success. What am I going to do? How am I going to react if they hit me on the chin? How am I going to react if I go down? So I look at all this stuff, and then it's in my head. So if it does happen in the fight, I will do what I have to do.
Yeah. And that's fascinating. The fact that you use that visualization. Is that something you used
all the time?
A lot? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that you use it to plan for things going wrong, because a lot of people will say you should only visualize success, visualize you kind of performing well. But actually having a detailed list of, okay, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? And having the responses planned for those things, takes away all of that anxiety. Because you're not worried about it, because you have a response already for those things that might go wrong.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it? The noise, if you don't win this fight, that's it. Your career's over. You're done. Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, I dealt with it in the way where I thought I will win. That was my immediate response. So I have to win. That's why I will win, because when there's a will, there's a way. And I got the will.
Prove that.
So yeah, I just thought, okay, is what it is. I just thought I've got to win, and that's it. And it's a case where it's like you get so many comments, good and bad. You so many well wishes, and so many people slag you off on Twitter, or on Facebook, or on like Instagram. You get some people saying, "Hope you die in the ring," or like, yeah, or like you'll get knocked out in 30 seconds, or you might get people that say, "Yeah, the next best thing since Sugar Ray Robinson or Muhammad Ahmad, Bruce Lee." So it's the case where I acknowledge everything. Like, I'll see everything, and I treat it all the same, good and bad. I'll acknowledge it and I'll disregard it. It's there and it's gone. So I feel neutral about good comments. I feel neutral about bad. I never ever get wound up about anything. I don't really take it personally if someone slags me off, or I don't take it personally if someone gives me a compliment. I don't really take. That's why a lot of people say to me, "You don't take compliments well," but it's not that I don't take compliments well. It's that I don't really care. Like, I don't.
I wonder if you say thank you in response to that.
Yeah. It's like, I just feel like I don't really take compliments well, because I treat the compliments as I treat the negative comments, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what you do and what the result is, because there's like a handful of people that you'll listen to, and the people that you'll value their opinion. So like my coach Dave Colwell, my dad Lerone, Danny, Alan, I forgot you was there, mate. These are the opinions that you value. So, you know, the good opinions of someone else, the bad opinions of someone else, you acknowledge them and disregard them. So yeah, I feel like, you know, at the end of your career, if you end up in a wheelchair, who's going to wheel you around? My wife's going to wheel me around. Will I ever see Eddie Hearn? Probably not. Will I ever see, you know, the editor of the Sun newspaper? Probably not. So, you know, these are things you got to think about. And I look at the stars now that were superstars, like undisputed champions. I look at Joe Calzaghe, and I went to a school Tuesday and Wednesday, and I could have gone up to any of them kids. They was doing boxing as well, so they was interested in boxing. I could have said to them kids, "Do you know who Joe Calzaghe is?" And I guarantee you, probably 80% of them would have said, "No, I don't know who Joe Calzaghe is." And he's probably the best fighter that we've produced in England. So at the end of the day, after your career's done, you obviously personally you want to achieve everything you want to achieve. You want to be the best that you can be. You want to be undisputed champion. You want to make loads of money so you can secure your future, your families. But if you're doing it for the fame and for the adulation, it doesn't matter, because the good and the bad comments, they're gone, and no one really cares about you.
Yeah, my dad always used to say, he always says to me, you try to please everyone, you please no one. So I get a lot of criticism about my power, and I'll take guys the distance, and I'm boring, and I might put you to sleep. But I'm still winning, and I'm still in these positions, getting these belts. And how people's minds could change, because obviously I do get some stick, and some people do love me. And
I love you, mate.
I've only just met you.
So people,
I like you.
The people that were taking the mick and saying, "Oh, look, you got no power." I sing hot cross buns and they love me. So people change, you know what I mean? So I just focus on myself and what I need to do. And like Jordan says, like at the end of our careers, we've only got our close friends and our family. No one else is going to care about us.
So there's two things from what you've both said there that jump out to me. The first one is about what other people are saying about you. And a lot of athletes, a lot of people will get confidence from what other people are saying. Like if other people are hyping you up, right, yeah, I'm awesome. And that's great until people start slagging you off. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm not. So we talked about where you get confidence from earlier. You know, people who get confidence from those types of things, their confidence will just go up and down and up and down and up and down. The second thing was that some people will try and block out that noise and the thoughts and what other people are saying and comments and your own thoughts as well. And the other approach is I think what you were talking about, Jordan, is kind of this idea of like mindful acceptance. And when we talk about mindfulness, people get turned off because people think I'm talking about like meditating at sunrise. Right, it's a buzzword. But, I'm not talking about meditating at sunrise for half an hour every day, right, under a tree or on the beach. It's just about acknowledging the thoughts that you're having, right, or acknowledging kind of what else is going out there. And doing that without judging it as being a bad thing or a good thing, which is exactly, I think, what you were saying, isn't it? It's kind of taking everything and, like I say, not being non-judgmental. And that, again, that's a skill to be able to do that.